Hey everyone, I'm Crescent Dragonwagon, and before I tell you about what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you about what I do. I'm going to talk gumbo to you from my book, Dairy Hollow House Soup and Bread, a Country Inn Cookbook. Notice it's the 30-year anniversary. This is a new edition that just came out. There is a whole chapter on gumbo, and I mention that because, as I say, speaking of Louisiana, gumbo could only have been concocted in this peculiar soup kettle, the American melting pot, and only in one part of that melting pot, Louisiana, Arkansas's due south neighbor, and only at one time in that place, 1790 to 1800. That's when and where five distinct cultures met, merged, and blended, creating Creole cuisine. Now, while I tell you all about what those five elements are in the book, I wanted to tell you why I'm bringing that to this project, why a Louisiana dish in Arkansas, because I think that Northwest Arkansas is kind of a gumbo. There are certain legendary things we are creating here, a cultural stew or gumbo, not so much a culinary one per se. There are elements that have managed to happen at this time in this place over the past 50 years, which is about how long I have been part of the Ozarks, though I am a Yankee native. So I want to tell you a little bit about the project, about me, let you see in this quick video that I can bring it when it needs to be brought. So I've been a writer my entire life, storyteller, seeker, trying to figure out what's going on, always bothered by injustice. And I started writing when I was very, very young. When I was 16 is when I moved away from home and I started writing. I seem to not have a copy of my very first children's book. My second one was called When Light Turns Into Night. And it was written at the time when I had just moved to the Ozarks as part of the Back to the Land movement. I lived with a collective in the Missouri Ozarks, didn't stay there too long, found my way to Eureka Springs about a month after my 18th birthday and stayed there for decades. Now, one of the things I did, I've always, whatever things interest me, I write about. It's just sort of compulsive. And I've always loved to cook. Writing is head, cooking is hands, nose, mouth, taste, sound as things sizzle. Although writing is also sound because you say the words to yourself as you're writing and see how it sounds. Anyway, so everything kind of comes together. My funny little interest. This is the bread I baked for Ned. It's a food-related book about my late husband, Ned Shank. Home Place, about an old home place where all that's left to show you anything ever happened there was daffodils. This is a cookbook that I did in 2002 that I won a James Beard Award for. And you already saw Soup and Bread, which is just coming out, and that has sold nearly 1 million copies. Unbelievable, to my surprise. I also did the introduction to Hip Billies, which is about that back to the land Ozark thing. And, in my time here, the back to the land people have morphed into what we now call farm to table. A lot of those organic gardeners that seemed way out there are pillars, or should we say, the very soil of the community from which it grows, into our farmers markets, into Brightwater, into the market hub that's about to happen in Springdale. It's absolutely amazing to see it while the arts have grown. So of all places, which is what everyone says to me when I'm back in New York where I was born, and I say that I live in Arkansas, they say, why Arkansas of all places? So this is my chance to answer that in a way that goes beyond me. Why have all of us chosen this particular place? So I'm going to, in this piece, through the making of soup, gumbo in particular, I'm going to take you through how this area developed, the cultural as well as culinary gumbo that is life in Northwest Arkansas now, how we contend with love, loss, diversity, how we bring it all together and celebrate and explore and get to know each other and appreciate each other, even appreciate and celebrate our differences. There you go. I'm all for resilience. Let's resil together. See you soon.